Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. Just do a quick audio check. Seems to be working. Fantastic. All right. I'm just going to get my YouTube studio ready. And then we're on. Today's plan, as the title suggests, is working on a browser automation for Gleam. Which is pretty exciting. Because, coming from the, let's say, TypeScript, Node.js world, also called hell. This is a pretty, I don't know, you're pretty spoiled in that regard. In the TypeScript world, and also Python. If you're doing that. But Beam languages, Elixir, Gleam, Erlang. I did some research on browser automations, and it hasn't been that. I mean, it's not even close. The ecosystem compared to something like Puppeteer, Playwright, Selenium. But I myself am especially familiar with Playwright. I wrote a lot of automations for my work in that framework particularly. And I just have this dream of something similar for Gleam, and through extension Elixir. And I already created, you can see, big banner, work in progress. So all of this is not something that's going to be done in a day or a week, heck, a year, most likely. But we'll, build it up step by step. I've already decided pretty much on the architecture. Well, not architecture. Yes, architecture, but also like a mechanism through which we will automate the browser, because there's a plethora and it is quite the technical rabbit hole that we're not gonna go into that deeply, because that would just be like 2 streams on their own, going through all of the pro and cons and mechanisms. Now, I do want to give a shout out to Crowbots, which is a browser automation library written in Gleam by Jonas, a pretty active member in the Gleam community. And that's great, right? I've used it. It's cool, right? I've fixed some of the docs. I think I didn't really contribute. I just fixed like a broken link. I didn't actually write any code. And as I just said, right, it works pretty cool, or pretty great, until it doesn't. Now I think if we just run it to write like end-to-end tests, for example, this would do fine, right? This would do absolutely fine. I think Luster even Haley came out with her own testing utilities that you don't even need a browser for. So that's pretty cool as well. But I'm more concerned with, I don't want to call it like real world automation, because that sounds like the other stuff isn't real world, but I'm talking more about automating stuff, for example, giving an LLM access to a browser, which has a lot of implications in terms of capability and mechanism through which you automate, because if you automate in a too obvious fashion, which is why we have this bot detection test package here that we eventually want to write tests for, you need to not be that obvious, right? So Playwright has, or Puppeteer has these, I think, stealth something plugin to mitigate a lot of the mechanisms through which one could infer that you're a bot. And I've pretty much written, I could have done like a PhD or thesis on this topic with the amount of research and stuff I've done, which we'll slowly implement over the coming weeks for this library once we have the basic mechanisms implemented. And then that also ties into the LAM, which popularized by the, I hope you guys know this, by, what's it called? Rabbit Tech. They initially came out with these claims of a LAM. Where do they? I guess, wait, Rabbit one LAM. The large action model, which is basically LLM. You can imagine it like a puppet, right? So the LLM is like a puppeteer of the browser, and you can just be like, hey, order me an Uber, and the LLM opens up the web application, and without having to write like all of the fixed selectors and elements and steps, it can do it iteratively on its own, which has a lot of advantages, which has a lot of disadvantages, which has limits, which has can work for some things, can work worse for others. So that's why it's going to be a dedicated package to go into that. But yeah, so to stop rambling and get to something more akin to Gleam code, I think we should talk about these 3 packages, which are going to serve as the initial enablement of writing Gleam code that then will execute in a browser in a similar fashion to something like this, or Playwright and Puppeteer. And we're probably going to steal some code along the way, so it's going to be a good stream. So how do I want to automate the browser? Pretty straightforward. A browser extension. I mean, it's pretty much given away. So Crowbot uses the what's it called? Uses the CDP, Chrome DevTools protocol, which is a pretty standard way. It's I think it's used by Puppeteer and Playwright to automate the browser and send, kind of use like a low-level version of Chrome. Now that has a lot of advantages, but also risks. And I and GPT have decided that using a browser extension might be a more, I don't want to say easier or more appropriate, but it's you can get going really quickly with this, right? So when you use CDP, you have to worry about frame isolation, like can the JavaScript you execute on a page be detected by the main page? And you also have to worry about certain signals that that the JavaScript can detect. There's a lot of theory. I kind of want to compare it to like a gas engine, not a gas engine or diesel engine, and like an electric car. Okay, that might be taking it too far, but in a sense that using CDP is very much the diesel engine, and it's quite complicated and quite intricate. But like, if it works really well. And a browser extension, it has like less moving parts in the code, hopefully. And it's just gonna be more, yeah, just quicker. That's at least what I've come to as a conclusion. Now, if you have more experience than I, feel free to tell me off. I'm happy to be to be told otherwise. This is just what I've, come up with. But yeah, I tried having GPT make a nice like overview of the architecture, but I don't think I think this would confuse you more than just little text. So yeah. But yeah, basically as a summary, what are we gonna do in just a minute? We're gonna launch a browser, just a normal vanilla Chrome browser. We're gonna spawn it, like let it launch with a browser extension that we built ourselves. So we're gonna have a mix of Gleam JavaScript targets and then some Erlang, because we're gonna have a server or an OTP actor manage that instance, and we will be able to send messages to the actor, which it then sends to the browser extension, which it then executes on the page. That's it, basically. Okay, easy enough, hopefully. So let's get coding, right? I've already created some packages, which are just like non-initialized Gleam packages. Let me just check if y'all can see y'all can see the page. Yeah. Or what's on my screen. Perfect. Okay. I can even pull this to here. All right. So we're gonna need to start somewhere. And the nice thing is that we can worry about the browser extension first and then worry about the server. So we could literally like try out the browser extension in our browser, right? And then just run like a little seed script, right? And then we can worry about launching the browser with Gleam in an actor, manage the process, which will probably steal from Crowbot, to be honest, and so on and so forth, right? So in this Spider extension, we're gonna write some code and make a browser extension, right? Now, I do have experience with writing browser extensions to an extent. I'm by no means an expert, but luckily, I've actually found an open source project which is a browser automation browser extension. Just not written in Gleam, and it has obviously its own things going on, and it is called Automa. Very you know, very original. And yeah, we're just gonna steal a whole bunch of code. Now, they have this really nice editor, and you can like build workflows with it and la di da. And this is pretty cool, right? Might be a package that we'll add at some point, or maybe something for the admin panel. But I'm not really interested in these kind of workflows for now. I'd much rather just have it be a Gleam code. And yeah. So we're just gonna check out the GitHub and see how they automate certain actions in the browser extension, or with JavaScript, and then we'll translate some of that code to Gleam, hopefully build a successful browser extension, load it into our browser, and have a good time. Now, the way you make a browser extension is with a manifest. Actually, just gonna open up a work repo on the other screen because I might be able to copy paste some existing code, which I'm not gonna live stream immediately, but I might be taking inspiration. Right. Okay. Open project extensions. There we go. Okay, manifest.json. Now, okay, let's just start, right? Manifest.json. There we go. Now, a browser extension is gonna need these fields, which we're just gonna call spider. It's gonna need a whole bunch of permissions. And yeah, I mean, we're also just gonna like, we could also GPT a lot of this, like, initial skeleton. That's at least one thing that GPT is still pretty good for. Okay, okay, so we're just gonna read up on their manifests here. Yeah, so the way this is gonna work is with a service worker, which continuously runs in the background. There's gonna be a WebSocket attached, and then the WebSocket can send commands to the browser extension, which it then can execute in the browser. That's the way this works. Okay, other than that, host permissions all URLs. That is definitely something we want. Right, there we go. What else do we want? Content scripts. Now the content scripts, as far as I know, we might have to. No, no, this is wrong. No, not wrong, but not what we need. Okay, we're just gonna, because we're gonna need pretty much all permissions, since we're gonna want the user to be able to do pretty much anything in the browser, right? We wanted to access cookies, create new tabs, switch tabs, close tabs, do anything and everything, right? Now we don't need these yet. Sandbox, I'm not sure what that is just yet. But that looks okay. And then we need the background worker. Service worker, I think they're called now. Right. And then here we're gonna have eventually the what's it called? What's it called? The Gleam JS output. Yes. All right. Now, where do we begin? Now let's just have a look at this background worker. Right. And this has just like listens to all of the events to obviously execute the commands. So that's just like, yeah, all of what you could ever need, right? Execute a script, yeah, do everything. Now there's also another package called MCP Chrome. which is very similar, which basically a server, which in turn has a WebSocket, which in turn it sends to a browser extension. So we're just gonna have a look what this does. Chrome extension. Oh, this is using WXT, which is a framework for building browser extensions. So WXT probably does a lot for them already. Yeah, next gen web extension framework, which sucks for us. I mean, it's fine, but it'd just be easier if it had everything in here. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Injection scripts, keyboard helper. Okay. We're not going to worry about that just yet. We are interested in the background workers, which I can't find. Okay. Web accessible resources, cross origin policy, Vite, injection scripts, workers. So workers should be where it does or not. Not too sure what all of this does, to be completely honest. Native server sounds like this is the actual server sending the different tool calls, which we want something very similar. Like get windows and tabs, navigate, screenshot, close tabs, like all of these individual tool calls will have something similar. But where do they actually like execute? You know, tool handler. Nope. Entry points. Background. Sounds good. Yes, define background. Yeah, see, all of these are, or seem to be, no. I thought this is like a WXT thing, but doesn't seem like it. Base browser. Inject content script. Yeah, this is pretty intricate stuff. But for example, if we look at keyboard, right? Execute keyboard operation. So here it queries the tabs. Probably looks for the active tab. Injects a keyboard helper, which probably has utility functions to maybe simulate real typing. And then it calls upon send message to tab. And then that looks for, yes, and then each tab listens to a command and then executes it based on the tool. Okay. Interesting. Send message to tab, simulate keyboard. Yeah. Tool handler, constants. But where does this content? No. Keyboard helper. Let's see if we can find the actual place where it listens to this command. Ah, there it is. Chrome runtime on message add listener, and if the message sent to the tab is simulate keyboard, it will simulate the keys. Okay. All right. So, you know, pretty all over the place. We're just gonna pick one action and try and get that working end to end, basically. And then we can just build up more handlers. All right. We can just use this as an example, right? So we might as well just orient ourselves with these message types. Click element. I mean, click element would obviously be the most, not sensible thing, but just very like low effort pieces to make. Okay. Now I'm not super sure yet how all of the pieces work, like the service worker and the individual tabs, like the content scripts. So we should figure that out first. Now, I am gonna call upon GPT on the side here every now and then. So just don't be surprised if I suddenly come up with something that was probably GPT. Okay, and here we have a very similar workflow going on. Right, these are content scripts embedded into each page, as I understand it. Message to frame, right? So I think the background worker sends a message to each tab, which is then handled by the content script, which, yeah, it's the only way you can interact with a site. So that makes sense, right? Okay, so we have this going on. Okay, that's great. Background.js. Now, another question is actually, oh, what did I do? Oh, it just built manifest because of the language server. Now, another question I'm not certain about is actually how, so there's going to be quite a bit of FFI, I assume. I think I've already looked at some packages, but none of them really browser automation, yeah, and also the search isn't really that helpful, unfortunately. I know there's Plinth, which has some browser platform bindings, but we're just gonna have to check whether that includes anything regarding what's it called? Chrome extensions, which I doubt, to be honest. Which is fine. Yeah, period. So at the end of this, we might even contribute to Plinth. Okay. I think it'd be cool to just get like a simple hello world working from a service worker and then do something in a page as a content script, then set up some communication between the background service and the content script, and then finally do some like click or keyboard interaction, something like that. All right. Now, if there's any noise in the background, that's probably the 3D printer next to me. If it's done during the stream, I can show off what it's printing. It's nothing fancy right now. It's just something we need in the household. But yeah, I've had it for 2 weeks now. 2.5. Yeah. 3D printers are pretty dang cool. Anyways. Oh yeah, I actually have Lucy in Blender right now, and I'm trying to get it into a 3D model that I can print. But I have like 0 experience with 3D modeling, so I'm probably gonna do like a little post, cry for help, because I actually bought pink filament so I can print Lucy. So yeah, that's gonna be exciting. Right. Anyways, y'all came here for the code, so let's code. Okay, we have the manifest. We have this. Now here's a problem. You can't, as far as I know. So everything in Gleam happens in the main function, right? You can't call a function root level, right? Right, I can do a plus b, but I can't do add 3, right? That doesn't work. So we have to make a function that calls the main function, is what I'm trying to say. Like a non-Gleam function, right? Which basically means, yeah, we just need like a background.js, which is gonna land in the build directory. So if I switch into extension, and I run Gleam build, and look in the build directory, dev javascript, spider extension, we have a background.js, right? Which is just the same file as the one in the source directory. And relative to that, to where this is, I'm going to have to call the main function from my main module. This one. I hope that makes sense, right? So we're going to do imports main from spider extension.mjs main. And that's all there is to it, right? So now if I run Gleam build and I do, let's just use bun run build dev JavaScript spider extension background, this calls the main function hello from spider extension. And this can be our background entry script, right? We can copy the relative path. Seconds. And this is going to become the service worker. Okay. I think that works. Let's just go with it. Which also means, I'm pretty sure, that we can already load something unpacked. I think that should work. Actually, I'm gonna have to do this off screen. Let me just see if I can find it and navigate to the correct path. Where is it? Spider. Yeah. So you can do spider extension. And that has a manifest.toml. And this has a service worker, which now says hello from spider extension. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. I'm kidding. Okay, so that was a, quick win. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And this is the same browser profile. So yeah, so now we can just reload, and every time it's gonna, you know, yeah, give us the current build. Okay, success. Adrenaline. That was exciting. Right. Browser extension check. Basically. No. But you know, we can do a little commit, say initialize browser extension or browser extension scaffolding. Now, moving on. Content scripts. So this is where it gets very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. So what we can do is basically the same thing. We could just do the same thing, but for a content script. As in, okay, let me just have GPT give me a little content script that just outputs something in the console. So building a browser extension, building a Chrome browser extension. Actually, I can show this. Building a Chrome browser extension with JavaScript. Can you give me a content script that interacts with something on the page? Actually, not too certain how to do this. Oops. Perfect. Okay, so, okay, and then we have to do this. Content scripts. Okay, perfect. And then this URL. It's going to be interesting. And then we also have to do the same thing that we did with the browser extension, I think. But with the content script. Yeah. Which already calls for some how do you call it? Separation of concerns. SOC. So spider extension. And we're gonna call this background.gleam. And we're gonna call this function init. Very British of me. And content. Then we're gonna have background and content. And basically we don't need this right now. Right. So hello. This, that. We're just gonna do the same thing right now. We'll do something more fancy in just a second. But right now we just wanted to get the paths right. Right, so background is gonna import from browser extension / background init. And then the same thing for content. All right. And then this stays the same, and then this becomes this. Content. All right, and if all goes well, we can reload this extension. We still get the hello. And if we refresh, get nothing. Perfect. Ta-da. Kidding. Right. Alright. Now it's gonna be investigating. JavaScript browser extension content. I'm quite sure that content. Oh, wait a oh, wait, no. Gleam build. Okay, that might have just not been. Okay. Okay, we at least got an error. Cannot use import statement outside a module. Okay, we've hit an interesting issue. So you can use modules which have the fancy ECMAScript module syntax that isn't usually available in the browser, but it is if it is a module. Now this is not a module, and we're just gonna have to research if we can import a content script as a module. Oops. Anyway, I can import the content script as a JavaScript module so that I can use import and other more modern syntax. Right. Yes. Oh, it's just a type module. Right. Well, I mean, if that's true. You never know with GPTs. Right. It is indeed not. Thanks for lying to me. Jesus. Okay. So why is it lying? Or did I miss something? That is also very possible. Doesn't seem like I missed something. Spider extension, concept.mjs. Okay, we're just gonna Google. What's up with this? Chrome extension, content script, import module. Sorry about that. Okay. This doesn't seem right. This also doesn't seem right. Oh, okay. So there's a workaround because there's also workarounds. Where you just inject, where you create a script tag with type module, and then you just insert it, which actually sounds fairly reasonable. Now, interestingly, there are a lot of workarounds. Can't be used. Yeah, we don't want to use something outdated. Yeah, honestly, just using something like bun, just like bun build to compile it down to, browser JS wouldn't even be like such a big deal. So I might just be doing that. Yeah, V's obviously. Yeah, you see, usually they all have bundlers. Yeah, use build to bundle content scripts. So, in short, yeah, they use rollup. Yeah, all of this is using bundlers. So yeah, Unless someone has a concrete, alternative, we'll just be using bun, right? Because if I get, what's it here? Content, the one in build, and I run j build def javascript spider extension, and I run bun build, and let me just get the documentation up. Build or not. This one. Is there any way I can make it like target browser? There you go. Bun build target browser. There you go. Out. Right. Bun build spider extension.mjs. No. Content.js. Out there. Just this directory. Target browser. Okay. Yeah, that just overrode it. Which, to be honest, is actually fine. Because this just inlines all of the files. And then if I refresh and run this again, we get header from spider extension. Heck yeah. All right. Success. All right. So let's create a just file. My preferred, what's even the name? Like project command management. I don't know. Set.envload. And we're gonna make a build, which is just gonna run this and then just overwrite the content. Build, build dev javascript spider extension out directory this. Can I rename this so that it doesn't get overwritten? Browser bun build help out file. There you go. That sounds more reasonable. But that might not be relative to the directory content dist. Let's try this. Opening root directory, file not found. Okay. What did I do wrong? Bun build. This. And then this. Build dev JavaScript spider extension and content. Interesting. Okay, I don't know. I know that the other one worked, so just gonna go with that. Okay. Fine. Fine. And you can just do just build. Fantastic name, by the way. Out dear. Yeah, that works. Should I do out file content this.js? Out file. No. That didn't do anything. Huh. Fascinating. So why does that work and that does not? Oh, now it worked. But now it's not relative to the thing. Okay. Let's just try this. Oh, finally. That's what I wanted. Content dist.js. Thank you very much. Content dist.js. And you know what? We're just gonna do this because why not? Because then we can more easily minify, and that's basically it. Yeah, just minification. Fine. All right. It's another commit. Successfully embed backgrounds. Service worker. Successfully launch service worker and content script. That is fan freaking tastic. All right. Next up is communication. So, following scenario. Let's say we do have, you know, the background worker, background service worker, Jesus, working. And now it receives a command, which is click this element in this tab. Okay. Like, what's the mechanism now? Right? How do we message the correct tab and let it launch the correct action? Now, I did see this like Chrome ad. What was it? Something listener, which we might just be able to copy pasta, send message to tab, and then we just need to call Chrome dot like this like on message. But that's what we need to find out. Now, where are the, here it is, content scripts, define content scripts. Or maybe I'm incorrect. Huh. Huh. Oh, yeah, it was here at the very end. Chrome, runtime, on message, add listener. Jesus. Okay. Chrome runtime. Okay, we're just gonna call this in the JavaScript, and then we're gonna move the JavaScript to Gleam, because right now there's like a whole bunch of FFI missing, which we'll do eventually, but let's focus on getting stuff on the page. And then we can say console log request dot something action. Action. On message add listener. And then in the background, we can send a message, which is going to happen here. Chrome tabs send message. Which for that to happen, we first need to get all of the tabs. Okay. Building a Chrome browser in JavaScript. How do I send a message from the background service worker to the content script to do something on the page? Yeah, so that's what it's doing. So this is how we get the active tab. Okay. So as I understand it, we could do this. This is going to do action, which we already named this one. Requested action, action. So if all goes well, this should actually do it. Right? So we just need to run just build. And then we reload the browser extension, refresh the page, and nothing happens. Perfect. All right, let's see. Error. Cannot use import statement outside of a module. That indicates that we did something wrong in the manifest, because we're bundling the content and background. But that obviously didn't work. Interesting. So if I look in content .dist.js, interesting. That looks okay. Oh, interesting. Uncaught could not establish receiving end does not exist. Background.dist.js. Okay. Okay. What does that mean? Can I query the tabs at any point, or is there an init event? Okay. This is not recommended. Action on clicked. Okay, so that yeah, that was wrong. or premature. Maybe that works. Just build. Refresh, refresh, refresh. Clear all. Okay. Well, this isn't working. Okay, let's try something simpler. Because this still works. Right. So something in the background is going wrong. Let's do this. Let's just console log installed. Right. Very simple. Just build. Clear all. Refresh. Okay. We're good. So this is just installed. Right. Let's get the tabs. Right. Just with the tabs. Console log tabs. Right. That's all. That's all we need. Oh, and close. Just gonna work our way down. Refresh. That actually works. Okay. Oh, I have a suspicion. I have a suspicion. So as soon as we refresh, this current tab becomes this Brave extension window and not the Google one, which is why GPT suggested this one. So let's try that one. Yeah. Hope that makes sense. Right, so if we console log tabs, it's gonna, so if we refresh, oh, well, just build. If we refresh, yeah, yeah. But that shouldn't happen. Reading on clicked. Yeah, maybe it's hallucinating. Browser extension tab unclicked. Now, on just another note, the 3D printer just finished. So, gonna let it cool down for a second. Service worker, get tabs. I don't know. Ta-da! It's a shoehorn. Just a small one, but it came out really nice. Wow. Actually, can I get this layer off? Look at that. Little shoehorn. Yeah, the sprints did not come out the best. Let's see if I can use the tweezers. Yeah, I might have to do that later. Ah, I got it. It's quite fiddly. whatever. All right. back to Gleam. Sorry about that. All right. Hmm. On tab clicked. I just want to get something really simple working. Right. Move the current tab. Pass a message to selected tabs. But that doesn't help me. Oh, man. Okay. Send message to active tab. All right. Let's look in this example repo. Tabs manager. Manifest. This is not a tabs manager, guys. New. Well, that's not useful. So this confuses me, right? Action not onclicked. So that is not available. Chrome.tabs onclicked, right? Chrome tabs onclicked service worker. It's basically just what I want. Like when you click a tab, do this. That's all. Chrome runtime uninstalled. Nope. Is there an event for my service worker that executes when the active tab changes? Tabs dot on activated. Let's try that. Okay. Let's see. Just build. Bye. Refresh. Error. Reading onclicked. Oh. So we can have this open on the side, and then when I... Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay. It works. Now, when this happens, we want to do this instead. Let's see if that works. Just build. Refresh. Tabs is not defined. Oh, I think I messed up. Yes, I messed up. Info.tab ID. Okay, that wasn't me. Switch. Refresh. Action. Do something. Oh, okay. Very good. That is quite good. All right. All right. We can work with that. Yes. Okay. Anyways, that's pretty cool. Okay. Commit time. Send message from service worker to content script. All right. Now, I admit, none of this is particularly gleamy yet, but we're gonna write FFI for all of this, but yeah, this was just quicker to iterate for right now. So excuse the absence of Gleam. It'll come. All right. So what would this look like actually in practice though? Or rather, how do we, what's the testing iteration step here? Like, do I just keep adding handling messages, copy pasting code from the other browser extensions, and eventually migrate everything to Gleam? Or should we go the other way? First, establish a WebSocket OTP actor connection first, hook that up to the Chrome extension, and then iterate the tests so that we have the full pipeline, like horizontally, and then we can vertically go handle all of the individual types of behaviors. Yeah. It's all good questions. And I don't have all the answers. But thinking about it is not going to really, it's not going to do anything. And another thing is we're going to have to work on Spider Core to create all of the shared message types behaviors that then get serialized in the different, browser, Spider extension, Spider server, all of that. Right. So I think it's actually a good idea to tinker a bit more on the architecture of background JS and content JS and see how we might make this work with FFI. And, write some behaviors in Gleam with JavaScript as the target. I think that'd be cool. All right, let's go. Where do we even begin? So Chrome tabs documentation, right? So in theory, we have everything here. Not, whoops, here. But events, right, on activated, and this gives us all of the function parameters, active info, what the object looks like. Like this is pretty cool. Like, I mean, let's be honest, we could even write some of these initially and then give them to GPT and or Claude, and it would probably generate okay Gleam code for all of these events. Right? Yeah. Promises are supported in Manifest v3, but callbacks are provided for backward compatibility. That means, I think what that means is that okay, if I were to query the active tab, I could also make it async, and it would return the promise. Okay. Understood. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna write a whole bunch of FFI so that we don't have to switch between JS and Gleam, and we can just focus on Gleam, focus on, yeah, that. Okay, let's go. Chrome FFI JS. And then, see, where did we, chrome.gleam? But then do we co-locate this? I think so. All right. Chrome FFI, Chrome. So yeah, at the end, we want to write like Chrome tabs, like Chrome on activated, add listener, events. Yeah. Okay. JS. So we're gonna export function tabs on activated. We're just gonna, and then callback. Now this is the nice thing. We can just do this with Gleam's use thing, use syntax. So that's gonna be way nicer in Gleam. I hope. I assume. Cool. So callback is yeah, is what it says. It's a callback. CB info. Well, not even, just CB. And then we can model CB as a function, right? So we get our Chrome Gleam, and we do pub function tabs on activated CB. To do pub type oh god, tabs on activated, I don't know, fn something nil. Okay. Tabs on activated, and this is gonna be external JavaScript Chrome FFI JS, and the same name, and nil. Sweet Lord. I think. Okay. We're gonna find out in just a minute. But let's take this. Content. Background. Do this. And just see if we can use this. So chrome.tabs unactivated fn io.println. Tab got activated. That should work. Except it doesn't because this takes info. Tab ID and window ID. Window ID. Public. Now that is not gonna work straight away. Just because we're gonna need to map this out way nicer. Right? But in the meantime, this should work. This should give us a tab got activated. If everything goes right as it always does. Oh, sweet. Yes. Perfect. So that worked. Very surprised. But if I do info and do yeah, just anything, you know, tab ID, and then nil, that shouldn't work. Yeah, okay. As far as I'm concerned. Yeah, that's just nil. Because info is actually, let me just quickly, how do I annotate this in JSDocs? Because JSDocs is actually quite useful in these situations. That's that one. And now info. Oh. Never mind. I wanted the JSDocs on the info variable in the anonymous function. Might not be possible, but that's fine. Okay. Okay. Whatever. We're adults, right? We can do this without JSDocs. All right. Tab ID, info.tab ID, window ID, info.window ID. That is what I wanted to do. And that should work. Bam. And now we have a tab ID in Gleam. Type safe, basically. Let's rock. Okay. And now we just need to do it for the rest of the events. Cool. Okay. Successful. What's it called? FFI. Chrome Gleam FFI. Right. Okay. Obviously, we don't have to do all of them right now. We can just do the ones we need at the moment and then do the rest, right? So which one do we need for this? So send message, right? Okay. Okay, send message. Exports function tab send message. And then we have a tab ID and some data. Some payload. And we just do Chrome tab send message tab ID payload. And I think the payload has some existing. Oh no, it's actually just any. It's literally any. Right. Response, the JSON response object sent by the handler. And this, yeah, this can be like promified and you can like return something. But do we want to return something? Right? Because we want to know if an action has succeeded or not. Obviously. Otherwise, we would have to find some very hacky ways to basically store, give every action like an ID, store the result in local storage, fetch that through the service worker. Like it would just become a whole mess. So not doing that. Okay, we're just gonna try out some things, right? So tabs send message, right? Tab ID nil, and then message payload. So this would be A. So this is going to be generic. Yeah, because this can be anything. We could also make it dynamic, but you know. Okay. Payload. I think it's called message. And the rest. Document ID, frame ID. Just ignore those for now. All right. And yeah, nil. Okay. Tab. Send message. That's pretty much it. Yeah. So we could do Chrome dot tabs send message info dot tab ID action. And we're just gonna go even further. Click, right? Click element string. Click something. So this is gonna get serialized to JSON and send to the other thing. But we're gonna be able to add a generic handler over receive message once we implement the FFI for content. And then things are going to get pretty great. because of the things we can do in Gleam. But for right now, we're just gonna... So right now, we're not actually adding new functionality, right? We're basically just recreating, right? Okay, action undefined, which makes sense because I changed everything. So I think instead we should console log just the request, because yeah, you'll see in a second. Right, element something. That's pretty cool. And now I really hope this is gonna work, because it serializes JSON over the wire. So just gonna pray that this works. Basically, it's gonna be very interesting. Now we're gonna FFI this content.gleam. Shit. Right. We're gonna make export function runtime on message, callback, add this, do our little callback dance. Request, and we'll worry about sender and send response in just a second. Make an external module. Runtime on message. Callback. Runtime on message. Do the same thing here. Function on message. Runtime message. Pub type runtime message. Runtime message. Request A. Right? So yeah, all of this is going to be generic over A. And then this is going to be generic over A. Oops. Like so. And this is going to be sick, because I can do something. Runtime on message, function message. And here's the kicker. I can do public function handle message. And now I can just say, I can actually just import action, background.action. Case message, click, element, echo, supposed to click element. Now I can say handle message. Ah, dang it. Nope, nope, this is fine. I can say Chrome dot runtime message. Generic over this. Yes. Yes. And return nil. Also, we can make all of these generic so that they can return anything, because we don't actually care what they return. And then these can return whatever they want. Okay, I know that was a lot. But if all goes well, we're now sending actions which are type safe over the wire. If all goes well. Whew. Okay. Huh. Look at that. Supposed to click something. Something. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Runtime on message. Gleam FFI. That is fantastic. All right. Pack it up, boys. Damn, this is cool. It's really cool. Just realized that this should return B. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Honestly, did not think I would get this far in fairly little time. And the FFI is like very manageable. Right? Now, we should do the create some wrappers around this. Sender. So Chrome runtime on message. On message. And the message sender is gonna be a whole thing, isn't it? Yeah. Which is fine. Which is quite fine. We'll just copy paste most of this. And yeah, so runtime on message. It's going to be a runtime message and then a sender. Message sender, which is going to be a new type, which we're now gonna string optional. So option. Yeah, this is gonna suck. Option string. Tab. Option tab. Option string. And option string. I mean, yeah. Option string. Option int. Option string. Option string. Bam. This, 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 Just gonna import Gleam option, and we just need to implement tab. What is tab? Okay. Just a couple more to go. Public type tab. And then we also need to map all of this, right? So sender is make sender. Make sender. Export function make sender. And then we can actually, in this case, do this. What's the JS doc for message for a message sender? Chrome.runtime.message sender. Sender. Because if I do sender dot, and this is useless. Okay, never mind. Okay, that's fine. We can make do with this. So we'll return this, and we're just gonna have to do like a create an option type from that, from null or undefined. I think there's a utility for that. Yeah. Sender.document ID to do create from option. And this. Okay. And just need to have a quick look in the standard lib regarding option. And then I need to import something Chrome FFI dot Gleam stdlib Gleam stdlib / option / Gleam. How do I create an option? From that is interesting. Is some to result from results, unwrap map, flatten, then prelude, make error, make option. This could use more documentation. How do I construct? Okay, I think I can do this without relying on all of this. Right, option, some, and none. Star as option. Make option, payload, or value if value is undefined or value is null. Return not option dot none. I think that's how it works. Some and none. It's quite simple. Or yeah. New else some value. Okay. Right on. And the same, just gonna go for the rest. Make option. Yeah, let's just create this right here. Make option. Make option. Make option, make option, make option. I guess that's the dark side. I'm kidding. That's the... I really do want to call it the dark side of Gleam FFI. But it's... I mean, it's not the dark side. It's just... You know. Yeah, it's just what happens. Echo sender. We're just gonna rent it. Now we still need to make the tab, unfortunately. Make tab. Make option, make tab. Which, oh my god, is a whole thing. Okay. Now there are a lot of, okay, actually, yeah, let's just return an empty. Oh, shoot. Okay. Accidentally. Oh. Committed something. Okay. It doesn't matter. Cannot resolve this. Okay. Then we might be off with our import from FFI dot gleam stdlib / gleam. That is a good call. But easy fix. Okay, it built. Now we shouldn't expect much just yet. Okay, we got nil, which that doesn't sound right. Hmm. Runtime on message, message sender. Hmm. Nil. No, that doesn't sound right. um, make sender, sender. There are so many things that could have gone wrong. It's hard to identify. So let's do the sensible thing and log the crap out of this. I actually have an idea what might have gone wrong. Okay, let's just do this first. We're just gonna log, right? Okay, refresh, refresh, click, click. Okay. Oh, I completely over engineered this. All we're getting is ID and origin. But then why are we getting nil? We should at least get like an empty object. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna use this to just quickly get my charging cable, which I totally forgot. I'll be right back. Okay. I've got the cable. So this is still an unsolved mystery. Tab, maybe because let's just get rid of tab and see what happens. Maybe this is breaking something. But I doubt it, to be honest. Yeah. Nil. Why is this saying nil? Sender. Sender comes as the second argument. Callback, runtime on message. Runtime message, sender. Sender is comprised of this. I have an idea. Yes. Mm. This is really difficult to just feel stuck. I mean, okay, look. Usually I would go down the route of trying to construct this with something else, like the type exported here, the class. But that doesn't feel right. Nil. That is so weird. Okay, let's try this. ID origin. Let's do something crazy. Okay, just something crazy. ID origin. Right? Let's just return this. No fancy anything. Just this. Because I'm guessing this has something to do with the way we serialize data in the FFI. Still nil. Okay, then I don't know. I truly do not know. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Thanks for nothing. Gleam. Okay. It's fine. This is fine. Yeah, this is why we hate dynamic languages, right? It's fine. Nothing happened. Didn't waste a lot of time. Alright, look. Bam. We have a sender. Great. And we can even do stuff like, like echo ID, right? We can do echo sender.id. Do this. Refresh. Bam. Right? This. Now the interesting part is going to be the tab. Because this tab type is quite intricate. There's a plethora. Muted boolean. Okay. We're just gonna copy paste like the other times. Pending selected. Session status. This, that. Right. Yeah, we don't even get the tab information, which is pretty funny. That's fine though. Right, window ID, width, option int, option string. We might have to make the width a float, but we're gonna check this type in just a second. Tab status. We're gonna check out the tab statuses in also just a second. Deprecated. Okay, then we're not gonna use it. Highlighted. Got it. Bull. Pending URL. String. Option int. Muted info. Whatever that means. Last accessed. Number of milliseconds. So that might also be a float. We don't know yet. Int. Bull. Option int. Bull. Option float. Group ID. Int. Frozen bull. Option string. So many things at our disposal. It's pretty insane. Audible bool. Active. That's it. Nope, not quite. Okay. Is this part? No, this was right. This was right. Yeah, this is muted info. Okay, that was my bad. So all of this. This tab status. Pub type muted info. Tab status. And window ID. Hey, Brian. So we're not trying to fix any problems. We're just writing some FFI. So we're mapping the JavaScript types that we get in a browser extension. For example, when we switch tabs from the JavaScript world to the Gleam world, so we can have some nice end-to-end type safety, right? So for example, we have this tabs on activated callback, which then sends a message to that tab. And in the tab, in turn, we listen to a message, which then just becomes a case statement over the Gleam type, which is action, right? So no raw string logic or anything. But for that to work properly, we unfortunately have to do the one-time effort of mapping all of these types to Gleam, which I am doing right now. But once we have all of that, we can basically just, writing our core logic. Right. Yeah, this is all still just for this tab. Okay. Now, Jesus Christ, that is a lot of stuff. I think it's best if we somehow get this to output, right? So if we do tabs Dot get all. Wasn't there some? Yeah, get. Nope. Query. Which. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. These. This is a different. Sorry. Nope. This is fine. This is still the same tab type. Okay. I was gonna lose my shit. Okay. Yeah, coding together. We'll do some coding together. Yeah, but I mean, this is very rough still. So we'll see how the project develops, and then where anyone wants to contribute. Because right now, just it's a lot in my head. So someone else coming in would probably I wouldn't be able to tell them what they can work on. So yeah, let's see where this project goes in the next couple of weeks. And once it takes form, we can definitely see who's interested. All right. What I wanted to do is get the tabs. Get the freaking tabs into Gleam. Because this runtime on message didn't actually give me a tab object because it's optional. So I'm gonna need to tell it to do that, please. And also we're gonna need to work on the send response callback, because now we need to think about, do we want the message to be async or sync, right? Blocking, not blocking, which is a whole another rabbit hole. Actually, now that I say that, I'm gonna make a docs notes so I can actually work on this stuff later. Chrome Gleam FFI, figure out async, sync, runtime, send, message call. That is something we should do. Okay. Now, tabs query is a function that exists. All right. Callback. That's what we want. A list of tabs. All right. Here goes nothing. Tabs query is not generic as far as I know. Pub type tabs query is function list tab a. Oh, it's generic as always. Whoops. A. Okay. That's going to be tabs query. Export function tabs query callback. Now, info. We do pass some query info. Which we're just gonna have to figure out as well. But basically I want tabs to be here. Await chrome.tabs or query info. See, but now we're in async land or in promise land. And just trust me, like, we don't want to be in promised land right now. That's a whole another thing we're gonna need to worry about. Tabs. Dang it. We're gonna need to make tabs. CB tabs is tabs.map make tab. So that's another problem. Okay, we're just gonna console log tabs. And we're also going to do this. Tabs is chrome.tabs query. Tabs. Right. Echo tabs. Yeah, this is getting pretty convoluted. Actually, it's not. We just need to figure out this. Right. So query info. Chrome, Gleam, FFI. Model query info in query tabs query function. Okay, yep, I need to do that and that. Okay. 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 Query info is just going to be empty. Right. Empty object. Let's just see what it should output tabs. Is what it should do. And it does. Yes. Great. Now this was my suspicion that this is actually a float. Okay, so let's just fix this. But the rest honestly looks fine. And the rest is also going to depend on what we pass as the query info, I assume. Yeah. All right. Great. Honestly, this is already pretty good. Only thing missing is the make tab function, which is as usual just gonna be copy, paste, and adjust, right? So this is tab.active, tab.audible, tab.auto discardable, discard. Ah, there we go. Bam. Discard it. Now this is going to be make option tab.fav icon URL tab.frozen, and yeah, just all of this. Make option tab.height tab.highlighted, make option tab ID tab incognito tab index. This is almost meditative at this stage. Muted info, we still have to figure that out. Yeah, haven't done that yet. Tab ID, opener tab ID, tab pinned, make option tab session ID, make option tab.status, make option tab.title, make option tab.url, and almost bam. Except for muted info. That is not done yet. But we can still echo tabs. And we could just do the first one. Just so we don't get convoluted JavaScript outputs. Nil. Perfect. Camel case for last accessed. Thank you very much. You're totally right. Fiddly work, isn't it? Okay. Still nil. So we're just gonna go back to echoing. Oh, we actually haven't used the list class from the standard library, which we might have to do. I mean, we're gonna keep trying this, but we might just have to use, not do tabs.map, but actually use the Gleam standard library list. But I don't know yet, so we're gonna keep trying for right now. Okay. All right, just build. Oh, yeah, that looks pretty good. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, see, but this isn't right yet because it's not a JavaScript. What's even the name? Okay. What I'm trying to get at is that we have a list class, and I'm pretty sure we should construct this object from this. That's what I'm trying to say. But how do you construct a list is the question, right? I don't know. Let's look at the prelude. From array, I assume. Yeah. List dot from array. Let's try that. Standard lib gleam.mjs gleam.mjs standard lib and list. The tabs map make tab, and we're gonna do a callback list from array the tabs. That might work. Let's just see. Let's see. Just build, refresh, copy. List from array is not a function. Oh, my bad. Wait, why is it not using the other syntax? Okay. Whatever. Not my place to judge, Louis. All right. Perfect. So now I should be able to run something like list.first. Because previously that just gave us null, which is not true. But now it's giving us something. Yes. That is amazing. All right. That's, I don't know. That was pretty cool. Now we need the query info. And that's it. Oh, muted info. Muted info. It's the only thing left. Muted info. But it also has muted info reason, which I'm gonna have to make sure I don't mess up. So this is muted info. And that's it. Oh no, it's using reason. Oh, the muted info has a muted info reason. Okay, got it. Got it. Got it. Reason. Muted info reason. Whew, this is getting quite convoluted. But luckily, as I already mentioned, this is a one-time effort. So once we have all of this ready, we're not gonna have to do it again. Extension ID is option string. And muted boolean. This is an enum. Oh, perfect. Yeah, we're just gonna omit that for now. I don't feel like doing that. All right. But this we can do. This is manageable. Muted info, extension ID, muted. That's it. So we need make option, make muted info tab dot muted info. Function make muted info, turn extension ID make option muted info dot extension ID muted info muted. Thank you very much. And tab status. I totally forgot about that. But first, extension ID. I probably messed up the case again. Yep. Muted info. Okay, perfect. All right. Perfect. And then tab status is an enum. How does that work? So console log tab status. Is that just a string? Has to be. Complete. Yeah. So that's just a string. Unloading, loading, complete. Tab unloaded. Okay. Got it. Tab unloaded. Tab loading. Tab complete. Yeah, exactly. Now the question is, how the heck do we turn this into the equivalent from the FFI, right? I mean, it's actually pretty easy. Because we can go into Spider extension Chrome. And this tab status creates 3 types, which we just have to return depending on this. So status make tab status, function make tab status. If Gleam kind of built an enum for me. Oh, I'm not sure what you mean. This is all we get, right? I think. So, yeah. So status is unloaded, loading, complete. Loaded, loaded, complete. Or loading. Loading. Right, else if this, and else if complete. And here we're gonna import this from this file, Chrome MJS. Yeah, the stream has a minute delay, I think. Sorry about that. So this, and this. And then we just have to figure out the import path. So this is Chrome FFI. Oh, this is literally just chrome.njs. And then, yeah, we just return these three. Man, I hope this works. Return new this. Return new this. And return this. Let's just see what happens, honestly. Let tab assert okay tab is list.first, echo tab.status. See what happens. Sum tab complete. Yay. Actually, I think there's an easier way. You could do this, which it will generate JavaScript for, and then just use this in the FFI. I'm pretty sure. But, you know, why bother? So, yeah, we just keep our little function. All right. Honestly, pretty happy with this. I think that's going to be it for the stream. Pretty good run. We achieved end-to-end message type safety and implemented a fair share of Chrome FFI. So I'm really happy with today's achievements. So next time I hope hopefully we have enough FFI to work more on Gleam code. I might do more FFI just outside of the stream because this probably hasn't been very exciting compared to the meat of this browser extension application. But yeah, next time we'll hopefully get some real action, pun intended, working on the page and do some simple workflows to automate maybe a Google search or something. So, focus, enter something, and search. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.